Hello and welcome to another video from me, this tutor, talking through the AQA topic 1894 to 1918 and conflict and tension around the First World War. This time I'm going to talk through the great battles of 1916 and 1917. So firstly, let's find out about the Battle of Verdun, the first of the big battles. This took place 21st of February to the 18th December 1916. Where was it? Well, it's in the Verdun region in northeastern France. This was a significant place because it held historic fortresses that the Germans thought the French would be keen to keep. And it's known as the longest of the great battles of the war. So the plan was, from the Germans, that they would create a battle of attrition at Verdun to bleed the French white. So General Falkenhayn said. Verdun was surrounded by a series of major forts crucial to France's border defence. The Germans hoped the French would send in thousands of soldiers to protect the forts. The key events, the attack began with 1,400 German guns firing over 2 million shells, followed by an attack of over 1 million men in the afternoon of that day. The French, who only had 200,000 soldiers, retreated to a reserve line only 8 kilometres from Verdun. The French leader was therefore sacked, General Joffre, and he was replaced by General Pétain. Now, Pétain wanted to hold his ground. He announced, "They shall not pass," and aimed to destroy as many Germans as possible. So one of the early impacts to consider of this is now a war of attrition. The Germans hope to bleed the French white, and Pétain wants to hold his ground as well. So now it's not about necessarily taking lots of land, it's about killing as many of the enemy as possible. Pétain brought in 259 out of the 330 French regiments and set up a huge supply line of over 6,000 vehicles every day, bringing in supplies for the French army. In March, the Germans took over 3 kilometres of land, but this was taken back by a French counterattack in April. So there was a series of big battles going on, with lots of people being lost, lots of supplies being used, and no real land being taken. Germans took one of the major forts near Verdun, but had to stop in June as its army was overstretched by the Battle of the Somme, and in the east the Brusilov offensive, where they also needed to go and help the Austrians who were struggling against the Russians. So what was the impact of Verdun? Well, over 23 million shells were fired in the battle, and over 23 million shells were fired in the battle, and this badly impacted Germany more than France. They struggled with resources and supplies because they suffered from things like the British naval blockade. So making more weapons was going to be more of a problem for Germany. The French lost 315,000 soldiers and the Germans lost 280,000 soldiers. In the long term, this would impact Germany more. They lacked the empire, they lacked the land, they lacked the population to replace those soldiers. Whereas France had more allies and more empire, they could replace those soldiers lost. So finally, France had shown her strength. She'd held Verdun against what was considered to be the better military nation. She had raised a large army to fight off the Germans, and she had improved her supply lines and her munitions to be able to run a great battle. So secondly, let's think about the Battle of the Somme. So when was this? Well, this was July to November 1916, 1st July to the 18th November 1916. And it was in the River Somme region in northern France. Now, this is known as the bloodiest and the largest battle of the war. So the plan was, the French and British were keen to make a breakthrough in the Somme region. So Sir Douglas Haig, the army commander, had warned the British government to expect large numbers of casualties from this battle. It was going to be a big, enormous battle. So the British government began a massive recruitment campaign and began conscription in 1916 to prepare for this, to have a huge army fit for a great battle. So in February 1916, the Germans had attacked Verdun. Haig wanted to use the Battle of the Somme to release pressure from the French in this region. So what were the key events of the battle? So first, it starts on the 24th of June with an 8-day bombardment of German trenches with over 1.5 million shells fired. Of course, the Germans, expecting attack, withdrew to the concrete bunkers in their front lines, reserve lines and beyond, and they strengthened their barbed wire ready for an attack. The French and British went over the top on the 1st July. The barbed wire of the Germans was not cut, despite the generals saying it would be, as the Germans were ready for them. So the Germans came out of their concrete bunkers, set up their machine guns, and they were ready. So on the first day, the British suffered 60,000 casualties, 20 of which were dead, which was the worst day in the history of the British Army. Despite this defeat, Haig continued the offensive. and large casualties continued. He used, though, new tactics, like the creeping barrage. This was where the artillery fired in front of the walking soldiers to clear out the machine gunners and the infantry of the enemy so they could walk across no man's land safely. Of course, this meant the soldiers had to walk across no man's land and meant they were slightly easy targets as well for the gunners of the enemy. It did not work very well. They also used Mark I tanks for the first time. These, the first time they were seen, the enemies fled from the battlefield, but the tanks were unreliable, often broke down, and didn't manage to cause the breakthrough the British Army needed. So what was the impact of the Battle of Somme? I suppose one of the big questions you'll get is whether Haig was the butcher of the Somme, or whether it was lions led by donkeys, so the British soldiers being lions, General Haig being a donkey. So we need to consider that sort of question. So here are some of the yes arguments for this, that Haig was a butcher and a bit of a donkey. So yes, the British and French had gained very little land, 6 kilometres for the entire length of the battle, huge numbers of casualties, only 6 kilometres of land gained. Yes, he was a butcher. There were huge casualties. Britain and France lost over 620,000 men. Haig was viewed very negatively after the battle as the Butcher of Somme. That's what people called him. People had claimed he simply kept sending people over the top to their death and didn't change his tactics, didn't really see the problem. So why could he be seen as not the butcher? What were some successes? So firstly, he helped save the French from Verdun. It was clear the Germans had to move soldiers in June and July and over the summer from Verdun, and this weakened their attack on the French. Another reason why it could be seen as a success, Haig had managed to weaken the German army. They also lost over 500,000 men. You add that to the men lost at Verdun, a country that had limited allies, no empire, limited population. They haven't got an inexhaustible supply of young men. This has weakened them within a war of attrition. He also had the success of developing the British Army into a major fighting force. The BEF was 100,000 men in 1914. By 1916, there was an army of 1 million men. Britain had moved from being a naval power to a major military power in the war. Also, a success, he had tried new tactics. He didn't just send people over the top to their death, he tried new things. The creeping barrage, most importantly, the tank. By 1917, 1918, the Mark IV tank would be much more of a success in being the new cavalry of the battlefield as a new attacking weapon. Finally, let's talk about the big Battle of Passchendaele for 1917. This was mainly a British battle in the Ypres area. It took place between 18th July 1917 and November 1917. And this is known as the muddiest battle of the war due to the terrible weather. So the plan was the British and Empire armies had some success in the area with other battles around the Ypres area, and Haig wished to use this to make a bigger breakthrough. The Americans were about to join the war. Haig wished to take over the Belgian Channel ports from the Germans to allow for more supplies from the Americans and also for the American army to arrive safely. So what were the key events? So on the 18th of July, 4.5 million shells were fired over 10 days. However, the terrible rainfall led to the ground turning to mud with craters of water instead of destroyed enemy infrastructure and barbed wire. The 31st of July, the attack began. Soldiers had to attack carrying boards to help them go over the mud and the deep craters. Within a week, though, 30,000 soldiers were dead or injured, and the artillery had failed again to break the German defences. By October, the British had gained 8 kilometres, and after taking the village of Passchendaele, the attack was called off. So what was the impact of this? Well, 400,000 British or Empire soldiers were killed or injured. 300,000 Germans were killed or injured. Again, we can talk about a battle of attrition. This would have been much more of the experienced soldiers of the German army being taken, those that remained from 1916. The German army would have been much more significantly weakened than the Allies side. The Allies side now having the Americans join them and more Empire forces joining them. So, for instance, there were Indian soldiers in the British army in that region. Britain had failed to take Ypres or any Belgian channel ports to help the USA, so obviously the USA was restricting where it could arrive now, had to rely on French ports. And Haig's reputation was badly impacted again for sending soldiers into such bad conditions, not adapting his tactics or abandoning a plan when obviously the weather was very, very bad. Okay, well, I hope you found that useful and you've managed to revise your knowledge on the 3 major battles of the Western Front. Obviously, other battles are covered in my other videos. So, for instance, naval warfare you can find. Also, you can find about the battles of 1918 as well to find out more. So if you want to revise those, then I suggest you read through my notes from my revision guide and also watch this video a few more times to strengthen your knowledge, and then have a look out for one of my videos talking through exam skills, how to answer the question for your exam. You can find also many other revision guides and also many other revision videos if you look on my YouTube playlist, and also in my link to this video you can find out how to order one of my revision guides. Well, I hope you found this useful, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye for now.